Hello. This short sequence is perfect for opening up the front of your body. Oftentimes, if you have to spend a lot of time driving or sitting in a chair, the muscles of your hip flexors and your chest and your abdominal muscles get very tight and tense. That can lead to extra tension in the back as well. So today we'll do some stretches to help remedy that. Now, as always, I think it's good to start with a few moments of breathing and meditation. So if you will, close your eyes and take the next few moments to focus on your normal inhales and exhales. If you're like everybody else, your mind will most likely wander from time to time. Just do your best to notice when that happens. And every time it does, redirect all of your awareness back to your breath. Lift your right hand to your face. Then place the tip of your index and middle finger right between your eyebrows. To come together on the same page, breathe in all the way. Exhale all of your air. Then use your thumb to block the right nostril and inhale left. Ring finger to left, exhale right. Breathe in left. Breathe out the right. Inhale left side. Exhale out the right side. Breathe in through the right. Breathe out through the left. Inhale right side. Exhale left side. Then once again, breathe in right. Breathe out the left. Drop your hand to your lap. Breathe all the way in. Breathe all the way out. And twice more. Breathe in. Breathe out. Breathe all the way in. Breathe all the way out. Then once more, breathe normally and focus all of your awareness on your inhale and your exhale. And join your hands together in a prayer at your chest. Bring to mind someone you'd like to dedicate today's practice to. And send your person some good energy mentally. And then open your eyes. And once you've done so, take your hands to your knees initially. Now, from this posture, round your spine like a cat and curl your chin to your chest. And then arch your spine in the other direction by lifting your collarbone side. Let that be a bit of a back bend. And then alternate. Use your exhales for the rounding, your inhales for the arching. And when that starts to feel pretty good, get more intuitive and creative about your motions. This one will primarily open up some of the tension in your back muscles. You'll get a lesser degree of stretch in your chest. But if you play around with it and just get really, really creative, you can get some more of that tension out. So in this posture, just move around in any way, shape, or form that feels good. It might not necessarily be the case that your breath remains deep throughout, but even so, just try to keep your breath flowing. And if you find a particular spot in your body that feels like it needs some extra work, feel free to pause there and just breathe into it for a bit. All right, then come back to neutral with your spine, back to the upright. Place your left hand on the floor behind you and your right hand on your left knee. Now slide your left hip just a little further back to twist your hips in the same direction as your spine, and then rotate and gaze straight back over your shoulder behind. Fill your lungs with your inhales, and take up any slack that creates by twisting gently with your exhales. Now release the twist, and then spinning to the other side, drag your right sitting bone back. Take your left hand to that knee and place your other hand behind you, and then rotate and twist all over again. And as you breathe in, feel your breath flooding out into your ribs. As you exhale, try to squeeze all the air out of your belly. Keep breathing in and out. And if your body then allows, then tighten down on the twist as you exhale. All right, release that twist, and the next one will be done from your side. So lean over onto the right-hand side of your body. Prop yourself up on your elbow, which should be either below or just a little ahead of your armpit, and then draw your knees toward your chest. Now, this first one will get your hip flexors, and the second one will get your quadriceps to some degree. Reach down there and grab a hold of your foot and press it straight backward into your hand. Now for this first one, let your heel float away from your backside, so there's a little space between your posterior and the heel itself. And do your best to keep your knee at approximately pant pocket height. Now your hip flexors connect your leg bone to your spine, so tuck your ribs down in the front a little bit to stretch the tops of the hip flexors, and then just keep the pressure on by pressing backwards through your foot. Now to get your quadriceps, next try to take up all the space between your heel and your buttocks. Just draw your heel closer to your hip. If you have tension in your quads, it might not make it there, but that's okay. At the same time, keep your knee at approximately pant pocket height while pressing your knee directly back to the rear. Slow and deep breaths. All right, release that side, and then switch for the same posture on side B. And draw your knees toward your chest to create something close to a 90-degree angle between your legs and your spine. And then slide your hand down there, grab a hold of your right foot, and initially press it back. Sometimes the body tries to resist the stretch by lifting the knee higher, so try to keep the foot at about, or the knee rather, at about pant pocket height. As you keep driving back through the foot, kick rearward through your heel, and just like before, tuck your ribs solidly down in the front. Slow, deep breaths. Imagine you could send your breath into a space that feels tense or tight. Now, sometimes it's good to let go of some of the stretch, so pull your knee backward away from the depth just a little bit. That should then enable you to draw your heel a bit closer to your backside. Once you've got as close to contact as you can, press your knee straight back again. This time you should feel a little more stretch in the middle of your right leg there. And tuck your ribs down in the front, try to squeeze your shoulders back. A few more breaths. Then release. Place one foot on top of the other foot. Now next, come to a kneeling position with your knees wider than your hips and your big toes touching. Allow your hips to settle down toward your heels. If that's bothersome for your knees, you can always substitute with a simple cross-legged position instead. So just choose the one that feels best with your knees. That's important. Now, once you've got to either the seated cross-legged stance or this position, grab your buttocks, roll the flesh backward out of the way to tilt your pelvis forward. Then take your hands to your knees. Holding the knees themselves, squeeze your shoulders back and together. Roll your tailbone upward and backward. And then take a bit of a back bend to stretch your belly muscles. Just lift your collarbones and your chest. Lift your chin and roll it all the way back to the rear. And try to keep your tailbone lifted upwards and backwards so that your pelvic position sort of looks like Donald Duck. Pulling with your hands, draw your chest forward, lift up through your collarbones and breathe. Shoulders back and together for just a few more breaths. Then release and take your hands all the way down to the floor and lower all the way down to your stomach. This next one is the Sphinx with a potential transition to the Cobra. Prop yourself up on your elbows, which should be placed approximately beneath your armpits. Press your elbows into the floor to slide your shoulders away from your ears. Now lift your collarbones just a slight bit higher while there. As you hold this, you may well feel contraction in your back muscles and something that feels like more stretch there. But really, this is opening the muscles of your belly and chest again. The sensations in your back are coming from muscular contractions. Just try to relax your back muscles, soften them up a little bit. Now, of the two postures, the Sphinx and the Cobra, the Sphinx is typically easier on your lower back. So if you have sensitivity there, stay in the posture that you're in. Otherwise, lift your elbows off the floor. Gradually work toward elongating your arms. Slide your shoulders down toward your belt. Lift up through your collarbones just a little bit more. All right, then lower yourself all the way down to the earth. Now, this next posture is going to get your chest. So reach your left arm out to the side, parallel to the front of your mat, and turn your left hand to face up. With your right hand still in a push-up position, bend your right leg. Flip your hip open to the side and attempt to touch your big toe to the floor behind you. If your big toe comes down, try to touch your heel to the floor. And then pressing your push-up arm position down into the floor, just look straight up at the ceiling as you continue to twist. As you do that, you should start to feel quite a lot of opening in your left chest. Slow inhales and then slow exhales. Roll yourself all the way back down to the ground. Place your left hand in a push-up position and then reach your right arm out to the side. Rotate your arm internally so that your palm faces up and your right thumb faces back. And bend your left leg. Roll your hip all the way open to the edge. Attempt to touch your toe to the floor behind you. Heel down is another possibility. Look straight up at the ceiling as you keep pressing your hand into the earth. Breathe deeply and imagine your breath winding through the tension in your chest. Slow inhales and slow exhales. Couple more breaths. Then roll yourself all the way back down to the floor. Prop yourself up on your elbows so you resemble a sphinx again. Now this one will target the muscles between your shoulders. Parallel your forearms so that the right arm is in front of the left, and walk your hands over to the side till your arms crisscross. Now, if you would like less stretch, you can always lift your collarbones higher. And if you want more stretch, you can always let your chest drop down toward your arms. Do your best to keep your back levels to the ceiling. Just imagine you're trying to stack a glass of water between your shoulder blades and find a position that allows it to remain there balanced. And in this one especially, really huge inhales and really huge exhales. Now lift your chest and slide your arms apart. Switch your position by placing your other arm in front, whichever one you've not done so far. Progressively walk your hands over to the side till your arms completely cross. Square your chest with the earth, level your back with the ceiling, and let your body's weight descend down on top of the arms again. All right, whenever you do deep stretching in the front of your body, it's good to tighten up those muscles again so you remain stable and flexible. So take your elbows down to the floor in the Sphinx position. Now, if the forearm plank is too much, you can always come to the four-pointed kneeling position and substitute with some cat-cow kriyas. Otherwise, from your belly, curl your toes under and back, straighten your legs, tuck your ribs down in the front while you hold there, and then just keep breathing as you maintain a straight and long spine. And being in this position strengthens your hip flexors, strengthens your abdominal muscles, and strengthens your chest muscles. And doing all those three at the end of this practice will ensure all those muscles remain stretchy, bendy, as well as strong and balanced. It's a lot to hold this pose for just a little more time, so try to relax mentally and physically. Do your best to maintain. And then when you're ready, lower yourself all the way down to the floor. Shift your hips backward towards your heels for the child's pose. Walk your hands forward to the front and let your hips rock back and forth and side to side. And then roll the way over onto one of your hips and come back to a simple cross-legged position of some type. Sitting tall with your hands resting in your lap in some comfortable and supportive way. Close your eyes and return to where you began. Just redirect all of your awareness to your inhale and your exhale. And if your mind scatters or wanders elsewhere, notice and then just redirect. For the moment, join your hands together in a prayer at your chest. Remember the person you dedicated your practice to. Now to pray for or wish for their happiness and their health. And if you wish, repeat after me. May all sentient beings everywhere experience peace.